It's finally week 6 in the Blue Collar Football League, and this week we have a rematch of one of the top rivalries in the BCFL, with the Columbus Gladiators traveling to face the Indiana Tornadoes. On June 17th, the Gladiators hosted the Tornadoes and handed them their only league loss of the season. Despite that loss, the Tornadoes are still atop the Western Conference standings, while the Gladiators have remained undefeated to share the top spot in the West with the Cincinnati Dukes. This week is the Tornadoes' turn to host the Gladiators at Beech Grove High School in Indiana. The Tornadoes got the ball to start the game and faced an early 3rd and 11. When Floyd Johnson rolled out to his left, he was able to find Keyshawn Tunstall for 11 yards and a first down. After a short run, it was Johnson again rolling out and finding Tunstall again, this time for 16 yards down to the 31. But 4 straight incomplete passes followed, including this one on 4th down that James Fields broke up to give the ball to the Gladiators on downs. Columbus went 3 and out, and on the second play of Indiana's second drive, Johnson found Gabriel Abraham over the middle. He withstood the hit from Clyde Wofford for a 17-yard gain in the Gladiators' territory. On the next play, Johnson found Kayvon Bailey. Again, Wofford with the hit, but again, the pass was complete, this time for 13 yards. And Sergio Holst followed that, finding the room on the right side for 11 yards down to the 22-yard line. Indiana picked up another first down, and then on 3rd and goal, Johnson floated out a pass to Sean Mack, brought it down in the end zone. The flag was for pass interference on the Gladiators. The touchdown was good. And on the 2-point play that followed, Johnson found Abraham. He was able to sneak it inside the pylon for the 2-point conversion that had Indiana up 8-0 after 1 quarter. Early in the second quarter, the Gladiators faced a 3rd and 10, and quarterback Nico Simpson decided to take matters in his own hands. He rolled around the left side for 11 yards and a first down. 2 plays later, Simpson looked deep. Mikey Love was there to pull down the pass. He was able to ease his way into the end zone, and after some discussion, it was determined he did stay in bounds for the touchdown. The 2-point conversion was no good, but the Gladiators had pulled within 2, 8-6. The Tornadoes quickly faced a 4th and 7 at midfield when Johnson waved off the punter and asked the coaches to trust him. He rewarded their faith by finding a wide-open Cliff Wheeler, who slipped 1 tackle and made it in for the 47-yard touchdown that restored Indiana's lead to 14-8 with just under 10 minutes remaining in the half. The Gladiators again went 3 and out, and with the Tornadoes backed up inside their own 20, Tunstall took a handoff, burst up the middle, and made it out to the 30-yard line. 2 plays later, Johnson faked the handoff, looked, and decided to take off, picking up 10 yards and another first down. And then it was Johnson with a short pass to Tunstall. He made some moves and picked up 16 yards in the Gladiators' territory. A holding penalty moved the Tornadoes back, but on 3rd and 15, Johnson rolled out. He was able to find Wheeler for 14 yards. A measurement showed that the Tornadoes were just short, but Dante Hart was able to push his way forward for a short run that picked up the first down. Indiana faced another 4th down, this one 4th and 10. When Johnson again took off, he was stopped just short this time, turning it over on downs, and we reached halftime with the Tornadoes' lead still at 14-8. A short kick and a penalty gave Columbus great field position to start the second half, and on their first play, James Fields took a handoff and followed his blocks for 9 yards. On the next play, Simpson kept it himself. He found room on the left side to pick up 10 yards with a penalty at the end of the play, moving the ball inside the 10-yard line. But Columbus went backwards from there, and on 4th and goal, Simpson's pass for Bradley Booker was broken up by Deshaun Mills, and the Tornadoes had held on downs. On Indiana's first play of the half, Rondell Boyd found a hole. He was off before he got hit. The ball came loose, and Clyde Wofford was there to give the ball right back to the Gladiators. A penalty moved the Gladiators back some, But on their second play, Simpson found some room and made his way forward for 9 yards. And he followed that by finding Love for a short pass that picked up the first down. Facing another third down, 3rd and 4, Simpson this time stepped up and found his way for 7 yards and another first down. And on 3rd and 5, Simpson avoided the rush, bought some time, finally threw the ball up, and Wofford came down with it in the end zone for the touchdown. The strategy wasn't quite as successful on the 2-point play as the pass fell incomplete, and the Tornadoes' lead remained 14-12 with just under 5 minutes remaining in the third quarter. The Tornadoes answered with their ground game. On the first play, Dwayne Gaddis went up the middle for 7 yards, and he followed that with 6 more yards and a first down on the next play. A holding penalty moved the Tornadoes back, but then Sergio Holtz took direct snap and with the help from a block from his quarterback, Johnson, gained 16 yards back into Gladiators territory. Again, it was the direct snap to Holtz, this time for 7 yards and a first down to the 33. And then it was Gabriel Abraham taking the handoff, bursting up the middle for 18 yards down to the 15. In the fourth quarter, the Gladiators finally managed to stop the run, forcing a 4th and 14. That's when Johnson rolled out, went to the back of the end zone, where Terrell Simmons hauled in the pass for the touchdown that made it 20-12 with just under 13 minutes remaining in the game. Columbus appeared to have an answer on its next drive. When Simpson went deep, he found Deontez Green, who slipped a tackle and made his way in for a 58-yard touchdown. But there was a flag for holding on the play, calling back the touchdown. Instead, Columbus had to punt, and Indiana went back to its running game. Here, Rondell Boyd made a man miss and picked up 9 yards for a first down. On the next play, he carried the defense with him for 9 more yards. And after that, Johnson looked for the end zone. He rolled out, threw it, and the pass was picked off by James Fields in the end zone, giving the Gladiators one more chance with just over 3 minutes remaining in the game. Facing a 3rd and 2 at the 10, Simpson was able to find Jeremy Williams for 12 yards. Then, just after the 2-minute warning, Columbus faced another 3rd and 2. When Simpson looked to pass, he couldn't find anybody, decided to keep it himself, and picked up 12 yards out to the 42. Simpson looked to pass again, but this time Kevin Summers came around the edge and brought him down for the only sack of the game by either team. A penalty pushed the Gladiators back even further, and on 4th and 26, Simpson was able to find Bradley Booker, but he was well short of the line to gain, turning the ball on downs over to the Tornadoes, and Indiana was able to kneel out the clock for the 20-12 victory. The Tornadoes avenged their earlier loss to the Gladiators by outgaining Columbus 356 yards to 200 and holding a nearly 14-minute edge in time of possession. For Columbus, Simpson was 13 of 27 passing for 125 yards with 2 touchdowns. He was also the leading rusher with 9 carries for 72 yards. Jeremy Williams had 6 catches for 36 yards, while Mikey Love had 3 catches for 64 yards and a touchdown. On defense, Clyde Wofford had 7 tackles, 6 solo, recovered a fumble. He also had a 12-yard touchdown catch in the game. James Fields had 3 tackles, an interception, and 3 pass breakups. For the Tornadoes, Johnson was 13 of 26 passing for 193 yards. He also ran 6 times for 27 yards. Sergio Holtz was the leading rusher with 7 carries for 42 yards, while Keyshawn Tunstall was the leading receiver with 6 catches for 72 yards. Daquan Tunstall had 7 tackles, 6 solo, and 2 for a loss, while Kevin Summers had 3 tackles, including the sack on Columbus's final drive of the game. Looking at all the scores for the week, in addition to the Tornadoes win, the Wolfpack were able to edge out the Spartans 18-6. The Dukes and the Cavalry reached halftime scoreless before weather prevented them from going any further. The Bengals and the Bobcats picked up forfeit wins. What that means for the standings is this. The Tornadoes remain atop the Western Conference at 5-1, while the Cavalry are 3-1. The Bison Red and Bobcats are 3-3. The Bengals 2-3, while the Spartans are still winless at 0-5. In the Eastern Conference, the Dukes are now the lone undefeated team in the BCFL at 5-0. The Gladiators dropped to 5-1. The Wolfpack are at 3-2, while the Seminoles and Braden Knights are both 0-5. Checking out this week's schedule, there are some key games in the Western Conference. The Tornadoes have another rematch, this time with the Bison Red, who they beat 20-8 earlier this season. Meanwhile, the Cavalry will travel to face the Bobcats. The Bengals will travel to face the Spartans, while the Dukes and Wolfpack will get wins, and the Gladiators are off. And finally, a look at the owners' poll, where there are no changes this week. Despite the loss, the Gladiators remain number 1 with the Dukes 2 and the Tornadoes 3. Then it's the Cavalry, Bison Red, and Bobcats, followed by the Wolfpack, Bengals, Spartans, Seminoles, and Braden Knights.